Mohammad Khan, would you concede that while Rahul Gandhi says that Vijay Mallya represents a case of crony capitalism, the Narendra Modi government could well turn around and say, if Mr. Mallya is an example of crony capitalism, then they are acting against Mr. Mallya. The fact that he's to be extradited, at least by a lower court, gives evidence of intent of this government.
There is an expression that suits this scenario best, making a virtue out of a necessity. What would you like us to commend them for, Rajdeep ji? They are the people who let him escape. They are the ones who suspended the LOC and haven't held anyone accountable till date. We asked them on the floor of Parliament who is responsible. We have yet to receive a reply. What do we commend them for? Do we commend them for the fact that he told the finance minister he's about to leave and the finance minister was complicit or negligent at best when he didn't take any action? What do we commend them for, Rajdeep ji?
Commend them for the fact that someone whose loans were evergreen when the UPA was in power is now hopefully going to be brought back sooner or later when the NDA is in power.
Yeah, that I find. Now the argument of evergreening is an extremely absurd one because it falls apart on close scrutiny. If there was even the slightest iota of connivance with any of the previous government officials, हम सब तो यही हैं राजदीप जी, हम तो देश छोड़ के नहीं गए. We looked them in the eye and we've been challenging them. Carry out whatever investigation you like. Whether it be the charge sheets filed in Augusta Westland by the ED, whether it be the 2G case, they haven't been able to muster a single piece of evidence. In the case of Mallya, whether it's IDBI and other officials, they find themselves under the scanner, and all of this happened when the UPA was in power. Mr. Mallya is a legacy of the UPA years as far as the NDA is concerned. I would argue that the cause of action arose when this government came to power, when people started writing letters and filing cases, when this government came to power, when people wrote to the Prime Minister saying that this man's intentions seem to be covering up a fraud. Mr. Modi was in power. When he fled the country, Mr. Modi was in power. They took no action against this man for 2 years. He flees and then they do this big song and a dance of bringing him back. I'm sorry, Rajdeep ji. Please hold the previous government accountable, but do not let them abdicate their responsibility. They are directly responsible for him fleeing. They are directly responsible for covering up his crime. They cannot put that off on the previous government.
Narendra Taneja, the fact that Mr. Mallya left when you were in power, just as the UPA has to answer for the fact that Mr. Mallya was, in a sense, given benefits from banks when you were in power, you will have to answer that you let him get away when you could have easily cracked down on him. It wasn't as if you were not aware of what was happening, and yet Mr. Mallya was allowed to get away. That charge will remain.
No, this is allegation. This is factually incorrect. The fact is that Congress party, thanks to Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and Dr. Manmohan Singh, they created Vijay Mallya. Vijay Mallya is child of the Congress party.
How did they create him? They didn't create the Kingfisher crisis.
Congress spokesperson.
Now 1 minute, they didn't create the Kingfisher crisis. They didn't create the Kingfisher crisis. How do you call Vijay Mallya creation of Sonia Gandhi and Manmohan Singh?
Rajdeep, I got your question. Now allow me to answer. Okay. You see, question is that who, first of all, who lent him money? Who did that? Number one, when he defaulted, Rajdeep, when he defaulted, again the same government came out with a restructuring and lent him further. When you default, what happens after that? For instance, a farmer or an industrialist, when you default, either you have to return the money or go to prison. But instead of doing that, you know what they did? They gave him more money. They gave him more money. Phone calls were used for entirely different purposes. That's what happened. This is real. This is all on paper, Rajdeep. You can't, Congress spokesperson can't deny that. The question is, then first, the message is very clear. If you are, there are so many of them. There are Nirav Modis and Vijay Mallya and there's so many, all children of the Congress party, all created by the Congress party. If you have patience, I can explain to you how. Now, the question is, now the message is clear. Message is clear that, look, you can't cheat India, escape and get away with. We'll bring you back and make you face the law of the land.
Okay.
That's what we are capable of. That's what we are doing. Mr. Rahul Gandhi says, no big deal. Yes, you are a rich man. You are a rich man, no big deal for you.